great to be in Ann Arbor. And even though my Golden Gophers are taking on your Wolverines this weekend, right? I am here as an Ann Arbor faithful. So thank you for that welcome. And thanks, Gabrielle, for your introduction. That was lovely. And thank you to all of you. We have the mayor here and his wife, and all of you came out and are tireless volunteers, I know, who are going to keep Michigan blue, right? Now, we are the underdogs in this race, and we're okay being the underdogs, right? Because we know how to get this done. I know that we can win because we have a secret weapon, which is all of you. And that's what it's going to take. You're knocking doors, right? You're making calls, you're registering voters, and you're winning votes one neighbor at a time. Are you okay?
Yeah, fine.
Okay, just making sure. Every single thing you're doing is making a difference. Every single thing. And I want to thank you for doing that and for taking time to do all of the extra things. I am trying to do every single little extra thing too. I want you to know that. I left Minnesota very early this morning, and I'm learning about Michigan geography, and it's great. And I will do a different state, I think, almost every day. But I love being in Michigan. So I'm asking you, but I'm also trying to do that myself. And the governor, who I've not seen very often recently, is also working as hard as he possibly can. So please know that we're doing this together. And you are the reason we're going to send Elise Flatlin to the Senate, right? Yeah. We need to hold that seat. She's great in the House, but we need to hold that seat. And you're the reason we're going to send Vice President Harris and my husband Tim to the White House. So let me say I'm really humbled to be doing this work along with you. And it wasn't very many weeks ago when I was in Minnesota knocking doors and making phone calls in my home state. Right? That's what I do during election season. And then Tim got a call that was just a little bit different, but that was from Vice President Harris. And so my door knocking has been adjusted, and so is my phone calling. But I wasn't even home when he got that call, if you can imagine. I was speaking to the state superintendents, who were all gathered together, and as that news was breaking, they were seeing that on their phones, right? And I'm like, we haven't gotten a call, and it just proves, I said, because I was losing my audience, and I just said, well, it just proves what teachers already know, I told them. There is nothing more important than the start of school. And so that's where I was when Tim got that call, and that's what I'm doing. That's what I was doing. But I have, since that time, been traveling all over this country. In just the last few weeks, I've been to Wisconsin, Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, North Carolina, and now Michigan. Wow. Yeah, right? Yep. Those states might sound familiar to you, right? You might know those names. And everywhere I go, people are just fed up with Donald Trump, and they are fired up for a new way forward. Yeah. And everywhere that message that Vice President Harris and my husband Tim have about a vision for a country where everyone is included is really resonating, where everyone can get ahead and where everyone can chase their dream. Not just some people, but everyone. And I'm an English teacher, well, or former, I mean, right? Yes, yay, right? I bet you there are some English teachers in this crowd. Yes, there are. Yeah, English teachers. We are the people correcting papers even in church. Yep. Yes. And we know that words matter. We all know that words matter. So when we say everyone, we don't mean some of us. right? That's a clarification and a distinction. We don't mean even only those who vote for us.
Yeah.
We mean all of us. And that is ultimately what this election is about. When you're out there talking to voters, I want you to ask them this simple question. Who is fighting for you? Because there is a very clear answer. And that is Kamala and Tim. They have spent their entire careers fighting for middle-class families like the ones they grew up in. Middle-class families like yours and mine. And they have plans to make our lives better and easier. And I think it's about time that we had that conversation, right? We want to have it easier to buy a home, easier to start or grow a small business, easier to afford gas and groceries and medication. But our opponents have a different approach. They aren't fighting for us. They are only fighting for themselves and their rich donors and their extreme allies. And I'm not making that up just because they're on the other side. They put that out there plain and simple. They put out there Project 2025, and that's what it's telling us. There are tax cuts for the rich and tax hikes for the rest of us. It's in the plan. Google it. They are gutting Social Security, cutting and gutting, and public school funding. It's in the plan. And they are putting fertility treatments at risk nationwide. You know, I just do not think so.
No.
Right?
No.
I do not think so. So right here and right now, we have a chance to just turn this page. Now, how many of you watched that debate? Yes. I am just going to say this. She crushed him. And you know, I'm a former speech and debate coach, so, right? And I didn't even need those skills to understand that she crushed him. And I loved watching what she had to say, because she was for something. But she had this part where she said, I'm going to turn the page. Do you remember this part? I loved that. Thought that maybe because I'm an English teacher in the books and then turn the page. I don't know. But I thought it was so great. And she did that for us. She turned the page. And I thought, I think we all can do that. So will you with me turn the page? Yeah. Turn the page like Kamala Harris showed us how to do. We are turning that page on Donald Trump. We are turning the page on J.D. Vance. We are turning the page, Ann Arbor, right here. Aren't we? Right here. Right now. Turn that page. Yes, we are. So I'm going to be watching you from wherever I am. And when you are out there working or there are meeting cameras or whatever, we are going to have our secret signal, which is, we are turning the page. It's a deal. So you watch me and I'm watching you, because this is how we do this, together by turning that page. And what happens when we turn that page? Well, we have a new way forward, right? And that's what Kamala and Tim are saying to us. But before we leave this turn the page thing, as I was doing that and seeing if I could put that into my remarks, I thought, that looks a little bit like, bye-bye. So when we do that, we can say, bye-bye, Donald Trump, right? Can you do that with me? Bye-bye, Donald Trump, and so long, J.D. Vance. We are turning the page. Bye-bye, right? We are turning the page. And we are choosing a new way forward. And that new way forward is for you, and for you, and for you, and for you, and 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 all of us, everyone. That is for everyone, and for our children, and for this state, and for this country, and for the entire world. So I know here in Michigan you are carrying a lot of weight on your shoulders. Maybe the weight of the world on your shoulders here in Michigan. And I want you to know that Kamala and Doug and Tim and me, we are right here with you. We are doing this together. It's the only way. It is the only way it is together. Now, my mom, who's a retired teacher, she's 86, and she's a retired PE teacher, and she sometimes still subs. She's a church organist, and she gives piano lessons, so you don't know my mom, but you know my mom, right? She used to say to me growing up, Gwen, you have to do the work that's in front of you. And growing up, I really thought that meant like the dishes or my homework or something. But she meant it in a more important way than that. It was something broader. She meant that I must see what the work was with my own eyes. It was an empowering statement. And she meant that I should look at my family and my neighborhood and my school and my community and my state and my world and everything that was in front of me and recognize what that was and what the work was. And she also meant that I had to then think about how I brought who I was and what I could do to that work. My own skills, my own talents, my own experiences, my own time to meet those challenges. And I love that because it's both thoughtful and actionable, right? It's important. And it also allows me to think about the work in the way that I should do it. I'm not judging what anyone else is doing. If I can do 5 hours of door knocking and someone else can do 5 minutes, that's okay, because we are all in this together and we are all doing what we can. Election day is just how many days away? 42. So needless to say, we have a lot of that work in front of us. So I am asking you to do what you can with your time and your talent, right? And your resources and your commitments. I'm asking you to listen to my mom. It served me well. Keep knocking on those doors and making those calls when you feel like you can't. But also bring some friends along and ask those friends to bring friends along. Register your family members to vote. Have a plan to vote. Have those hard conversations with that neighbor who might be undecided and you've already spoken with them 50 times and you wonder, like, what is it going to take? We will not give up. And also, let's continue to have the conversations with people who have signs in their yards that we might not love. Because we cannot afford to give up on anyone. On anyone. You have to find your own way to make a difference. And I trust that you will. Now, I was just in Nevada, as I said, and I was in Las Vegas. And in a room much like this. And people were getting ready to go out for a door knock. And there were 6 women who came up and said, we never thought we could door knock. We had never done anything like this before, but we wanted to do something. And so we thought, if we do this together, we can do it. And I thought it was so inspiring. They told me that they had been door knocking together for the last 13 days. And they were more dressed like they were going out to lunch. And I said, you've been door knocking in those shoes? They were wearing high heels. And they said, yes. And they said, this is how we dress, and this is what we're doing. And I thought, if they can do it in those shoes, we can do it too, Michigan. We can do it too. That was over a week ago, and I bet you they are up to 20 because they said they were door knocking every single day and they were committed to one another. Now, the governor says We'll sleep when we're dead. I am more moderate. I think we can take a nap after the election, or every once in a while. But maybe not a wink till then, okay? We all have this power to choose a new way forward, but we will not make it happen unless each and every one of us does this together with every single part we can do. It is within our grasp, but we have to fight for it. And we're going to have to fight in every way that we know how. And I think you are ready to do that. I know you are.
Yeah.
Now, I'm leaving some cookies here, I think. Where's Kyla, did we have some? Oh yeah, I have a couple of those bags of cookies because when I have people at the Minnesota governor's residence, I like to make those and serve them before they go out in the cold Minnesota evening as they're leaving. Or it's my great-grandmother's recipe. As a gesture, I feel like from our family to your family. So the other weekend we made 1,500 of them. And so then we just, before I come to Michigan, then I just, bake them the night before, right? And take the little dough balls out of the freezer and then bake them and then bring them to wherever I'm going next. So I know there's not enough for everyone. We're going to post the recipe. But I wanted you to know that that's how I feel about the work together. So if maybe you can't door knock or phone call, then maybe just make cookies for somebody who is door knocking or phone calling, and then maybe the next night you'll be able to do it. There is no gesture that is too small. And I also wanted you to know that you're our neighbors here in Michigan. Both of our states start with the great letter M, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we are together with you in this fight. And we understand what this fight means. So there are cookies, they say Biden-Harris on the bottom, but they are my great-grandmother's recipe. Oh, and last thing, I'm pretty sure she got it off like the crystal sugar bag, but we think it's our family recipe, but I just want to be transparent in case on that. So I would like to leave you with this. We have a great candidate on our side who shares a vision for everyone. And as Kamala Harris, the next president of the United States, I'm going to say it again, Kamala Harris, the next president of the United States. She says it all because she says, when we fight, we win. Michigan, when we fight, we win. Ann Arbor, when we fight, we win. So let's get to work. I am with you. Let's